Thank you, Beth. And we're back. Christy, good morning, my darling. We are doing an earlier recording today. I am so happy to see you. I got to see you last week, which was such a treat, finally in person after what, a year and a half?
Huh?
Yeah. So how was the rest of your week?
It was good. It's really interesting when you start to have a more abundant mindset and you open yourself up to more opportunities, which I know is basically what we talk about every single week. The floodgates kind of like can open. And right now I'm like a little bit like I'm not used to that. And so there's a lot of opportunities coming my way that I'm just sifting and sorting through of what feels best for me. Because I've always had an energy where, like I've said before, I didn't feel very worthy. So I chased and like I pursued opportunities and I pursued things coming my way. And now that it's like the script is flipping a little bit, I'm not used to it. So now it's like to have things coming to me. I've done a lot of self-reflecting. So it's a really cool time. It's a really interesting time in my life that I can see that the work that I'm doing is really coming into the physical world now, like just out, not inside of me in my own inner peace. It's actually reflecting to me. So very cool stuff in the works that I'm really excited about. And I'm excited about this month coming forward with some launches in my business that I've been working on. So yeah, lots of good
Wow.
stuff. Lots of
That
good
is great stuff. That's not
and
just good stuff. That's
yeah, no,
amazing.
it's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. And it was so great to see you like in person as a actual person that I feel like I know well and never have met. And that's how well I feel like I know you. Like it didn't seem like that was the first time I ever met you. I don't know if you felt the same way, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
felt like I was meeting an old friend for lunch. So it's really cool that we live in an age where we can be in totally different countries or opposite sides of the country and build relationships this way and meet every week, and then we come together. It's just like, yeah, cool, yeah, all right, awesome, you're here and you're in the flesh now, but I feel like I know you already, and it's just really cool. It's a really cool time. Yeah.
I was always surprised when we said, "Oh, have I told you that yet?" I was like, I wonder why not. Like, have we not spent our past life together, or like,
Right.
why don't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I felt the same way, which is, I think that's the essence of true relationships, right?
Uh-huh. I agree.
Um, I want to add, whenever you're ready to share on what you're sifting and going through, I think we all want to know.
Yes.
Just yeah, I'm opening the door.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I actually was offered an opportunity to manage um, retreats on site domestically and also specifically in Costa Rica. And it's with someone that I've been working with that's helping me build my retreats. And she proposed this opportunity, and I think it's just really amazing. So yeah, I'm
That's amazing.
yeah. So it will be remote working, doing back end stuff, but then actually being on site and overseeing the physical retreats when they're being held too. So I'm going to spend more time in Costa Rica now, and I'm
Oh,
pretty excited.
you poor thing. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just all super relevant to where I'm moving in business and where I feel called to serve. And so it's really kind of parallel to um my own business that I'm building things for, and it's very in alignment. The people I will be working with are extremely in alignment, like very soul connected, and it just literally just came to me. I didn't know about it, didn't pursue it. It was just presented, and I reflected for all of a couple hours and said, yes, I need to do
Sure.
this. Yeah. Yeah. So very cool things. I think, not I think, I know personal development and bringing people together on a soul level is what I feel really called to do. And retreats are a beautiful way of not just allowing people to have a vacation or a getaway in a good location, but really to build community and explore yourself and discover more about yourself together in a group setting, and use the location to help you do that. So yeah.
And I have to say, just from personal experiences, retreats, those 3 days or 5 days or however much time you spend in a retreat, it always changed me completely. I mean, the time that you're investing, the money that you're investing, there is no subsequent comparison, I would say, on how fast you learn, how fast you can have breakthroughs, and how fast you propel yourself forward. So just in case anybody
I was forever changed from my retreat in Costa Rica in April. Truly. It really helped steer me into what I'm stepping into now.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Well, what about your week? I know each week for you right now is like a lot. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there is a lot going on. Actually, gosh, you know what? I'm in resistance right now because it feels really big. It's becoming more real. And yet another layer of the onion is being revealed. And I am fighting real good. So I haven't sifted through all of this yet. I can't even, if you ask me how I am, I could say I'm fine. Or say I'm working on it. I really truly am. So that's really all I have today. There is no big revelation or anything like that. Just I'm working through it.
Yeah. And it's awesome that you're willing and like open to express that, because I think sometimes when people hear personal growth or I'm working on myself or whatever, everybody thinks that that's supposed to be like a happy rainbow journey the whole time, because you're and it's not. And I think the more people who are authentic about sharing the journey in the journey, not just the after effect, it will encourage other people to have the strength to do the work as well. Because I think that that's part of it, is when people discover that, there is pain in this development, it makes a lot of people not want to do it because it doesn't feel great all the time. But someone like you expressing this allows other people to, if they don't have the strength, they can at least take yours from hearing you say something like that to help them move through their journey too. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, because it is messy and it's okay. Yes. Let's talk about why performing artists need to step into their earning power today. And this came to me because of a quote I heard from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he said, changing an industry or changing an organization only happens by changing the individuals. So it's not quote, but that was the essence of what he said. And I'm like, wait a second, let's apply this one to the arts, right? Because I have been in several conversations this week and the past week that the expectation is that the organization, the industry needs to change first before people are actually starting their own journey. And I see that as a cop out, as a moving responsibility, as victimhood. It's something that I was in my entire career, putting my hand up. But the thing is that if artists actually understanding their own worth, despite if your director or your organization or whoever sees your worth yet, this is how we really going to turn the ship around.
Yeah.
So when I say it is important to step into your earning power, that means understanding that you are worth getting paid. It is not, you're not going into a company with the mindset, oh, there's so little spaces and companies don't have money and 2020 has been so struggling. So therefore, I'm just going to put my own needs underneath the table and say, I don't really need any money. And if you have a little bit, that's okay too. That's not the right energy to put out. That's not the right everything to create a more sustainable arts altogether. Mm-hmm. I see you nodding the whole time. Mm-hmm. Please share.
Well, I'm reflecting back at where I was when I was in the industry, and that perspective was my perspective. I never negotiated pay, and I just accepted whatever was presented, and I didn't question it or question even if I was worth more. And so what that developed in me over the 15 years that I worked professionally was essentially I had in my mind a very low scale of worth of what I was worth. That really, truly, it was at the point where I just accepted and was grateful to have anything, because I was so used to having like such a low pay scale presented to me that became my worth. Right. So I couldn't even see like a $1,500 a week contract, because to me that was like, well, that would never happen. That like I wouldn't be worth that.
Doesn't exist, right? Like who gets that? Only the superstars, right? Yeah. Right. And it's in that very belief of it's not possible where we're actually shutting the door. I think that's where the arts just is within their familiar zone and in their comfort zone and saying, well, it is what it is. You know, you're a dancer, you get like $750 a week living in New York City. Good luck. Because that's what it always has been. And that's where we're gonna, you know, keep continuing the tradition. It's like we are inheriting these old traditions and beliefs from generation to generation to generation without questioning them. And it doesn't have to be that way. Right. Nobody sets the rules that these things have to stay the same way. And I think that's where we're going wrong. This is where we're so comfortable in keep going the way we've been going and expecting it to keep on working. And that's where I get so wound up, I would say. Yeah. I don't know if you, so in Sunday's New York Times, there was a bigger article about Mackenzie Scott giving $2.7 billion to underfunded companies. And Alvin Ailey was one of them, Dance Theater of Harlem, and they all received big injections. Big. I'm talking about $10 million. Now, I am not apprised of their annual budgets, but I can imagine that, you know, half of a $10 million injection, investment, donation, because with these donations, there are no guidelines. She just is the kindest heart. She just gives it all away and says, do what you need to do. So what could they do with it? Like, is it that we're perpetually, inherently just spending the money on our overhead and our monthly and yearly expenses? Or are we going to use half of it or a third of it to have some compound interest occurring, to invest into other strategy that can build different streams of income? Something that will move the business forward as a business, actually, as an organization, as an investment that returns to you, versus needing to go in 3-4 years and saying, so we're out of money, we need more. And I think that is the only switch that needs to occur, and it would change everything, the entire landscape of how we're doing arts right now, on how we're perceiving the structure of companies, and then it would also change the way artists would actually be treated, right, and experience their careers, right? Right. And like you said, that will take a group of people to break the perpetual cycle and break away from the example of how to run a company.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I think we just in general live in a world where we kind of look right and left at everyone regardless. So I feel even in the arts, each entity, each theater, each company is still looking right and left to see what other people are doing as an example of where they should go. And like you said, if we could get to a point where we're willing to work on ourselves and change something in ourselves and unwire some things in ourselves, because it who's ever running each company, this is decades of that kind of thinking of this is how you run it. So that takes some unlearning. But in doing that, if people are willing to get in their own lane, and regardless of what everyone else is doing, decide to take a path, that's how that will change. But it only will change if we as dancers, as directors, as artistic directors, can own what feels right for us, or a direction that might be in our hearts to take this company, and do it regardless of if anybody else is doing it that way. And that takes strength. So,
And courage, right?
Yeah.
So I think it is so imperative that we understand that every single one that is listening to this podcast and our weekly conversation, that just because it has been done this way for so many decades doesn't mean it has to continue that way. Mm-hmm. And if 2020 has shown us anything, is that it is truly in our hands to change things up and look at the existence from different perspectives, right? And why we're saying, or why performing artists need to step into that earning power more, is to understand your own worth, understanding that you have spent not only your time in learning all of the things that you're able to perform, like your skill set is worth something. Mm-hmm. And you also invested a lot of money in acquiring these kind of skill sets. Mm-hmm. And with that, not only are you an expert, not only have you put in your 10,000 hours, but you also need to expect of yourself that you're not just doing it to give it away, but you're also doing it to receive a return of investment. And I think that part is always left out in training, in companies, in expectations, in everywhere we talk about the arts. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm not saying that just coming from a place of giving is the wrong approach, but what I think is not the right approach, and that's cutting us off from our own earning potential, is not seeing our worth. It's not seeing that artists and the arts itself actually have a place in the world and are worth of earning as well. You know, so, and I think that's why every single person that is an artist and has the courage and the guts to step into their earning potential by even saying, hey, I'm going to start a side hustle. I don't even know what that looks like yet, but I'm going to try. And just asking different questions, asking what would that look like? How could I do that? Mm-hmm. Could I earn some money with not trading my time for money, but how do I, maybe take $50 every week and put it into Bitcoin or investing? Like, this whole saving money mentality is language of the past. Mm-hmm. Every person that is influential and has accrued some kind of wealth is an investor and not a saver. Mm-hmm. Because saving really makes the bank money. Investing makes your money makes lots and lots of babies, and that's what you really want. Mm-hmm. That's how you are becoming wealthy. And with you stepping into your own earning power, not only gives other people the permission to do so, but you also have the choice and the availability and capability to help others. Mm-hmm. Through giving it away. If you think having money is a bad thing, well, you know what? Give it away. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Give it away to people who need it, who want to start a business, who are the starving artists, or the company who can't really see their way out yet, they may have to close, give it away, because then you're coming from a place of service. Yeah. And if you're not willing to do that, then maybe you also would like to have money, and that's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. And it's this full circle where we're just denying ourselves that, oh, having money is bad, and I'm an artist, I shouldn't have money. Mm-hmm. And I think in the beginning of when we started recording, we talked about all of these gauges and ceilings, and we're coming back to it every single time. It is the stories that we heard, it's the stories and beliefs that were injected into our veins for I don't know how many years. And you've taken them on as your belief. And the message here is really clear. You don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Write your own stories.
And that's it. It's our responsibility to find our own strength to break these cycles or break this, this follow the crowd programming that we all have, because we all want to fit in, because we all want to be loved. Like, it all comes back down to that. It really does, in the depths. But like, that's why everybody just follows and does what other people do, because it feels better to just fit in than to be different and misunderstood. But what are you missing out on by just following and doing what everybody else does? Like, what is tugging here that you're not going for, because it's going to ask you to step outside of this like flow of where everyone else is going. And it starts there. So it starts in that, and that's like in our personal life. But then, if we are in a artistic director or company owner position, then that's where the shift really happens. If you have that strength in you to take your company in a new direction, because the world's going in another direction, if you see that and you have that awareness and you want this company to thrive in a new wherever, where every company's had to adjust and pivot since they've opened, or they aren't anymore. If they're a company of, a decade or more, they've made adjustments. They have not stayed the same. They have not been the same company for 10 years. And those that don't, like, we've seen it, they just pedal out. So it really is up to us to always be adjusting and pivoting and going with what's in here, not with just what we see as examples. If we wait for other people to do stuff, we're really missing out. Yeah. So don't wait for other people to start. If you need any kind of leadership or people that help you do that, go find them. They're everywhere. Reach out to us. We can definitely point you in the right directions. I think it is so important to see, and it's so interesting for me, because we're not stepping into our earning power, because not only are we scared of failure and who am I to, actually scared of success versus failure, quite honestly, but we also don't know how to lead ourselves yet. Yeah. If you fall out of bed and go into the studio and like keep repeating your day over and over again without assessing how you're feeling and understanding that you have a choice how to feel and how you want to feel, then this is where it starts. You have a choice to feel happy. Your body doesn't have to be miserable all the time. And if it does, it's actually an alarm signal. It's like the red light blinking and saying, so excuse me, we got to change something. And we are capable of human beings to shut all of this out and keep going and keep going and keep going. And then 10 years down the road, everything is going to fall down like a building that has not been taken care of. And pretty close to what happened to me.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. So that's where it starts. You need to lead yourself first. You need to know what that means, leading yourself, leading a life by design and not somebody else's expectations filler.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I really do it, because I fell into a pattern for so many years where I just wanted to be told what to do. Like literally, it was so uncomfortable to be asked to step into any kind of position where I had to actually like verbalize or act on something that I decided. It
Right.
was I there was such a fear. There was such a fear. I didn't feel, and it came from the worthiness. I didn't feel worthy enough to make the decision. I was like, no, 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 no. Somebody else make it for me. I'm cool to just do what I'm told. And that is essentially the way I lived for so, so long. Which is why it's like been such a journey, because I have taken the most extreme sharp turn. I've turned that wheel as far as it can go in the other direction. But I understand what that feels like, and that is in itself its own pattern to get into. And I think it's really easy one to get through into as a dancer, because you're told what to do like all the time. So you just naturally just want to keep being told what to do.
Yeah, because you take it on as your identity.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have the awareness of what's happening, then yes, you're slipping into it very naturally. It's a very natural process. It has nothing to do with, your abilities or not. It is just a natural process, which you can get out of when you're aware of.
For sure.
Yeah. And that is why step into your earning power, because we need you, all of us, the entire world needs you to step into your power, needs you to understand that you are worthy of earning money as an artist. That's it.
Yeah.
I think I'm complete. Like this is all out. Okay. As always, my loves, please share your biggest takeaway. It would mean the world to us to see how this resonates with you, or even better, let us know if this actually rubs you the wrong way and you completely disagree. Because in everything that triggers us is a lesson.
For sure.
And something that we should lean into. So go share. There's nothing wrong, no wrong word, nothing is being taken personally. Curse away, we can take it.
Absolutely.
And with that, I'm going to send you off. Sending you so much love. Thanks for tuning in, and till next week.